never combine too many drugs. A Datura, DXM, Hydrocodone, Methylphenidate, Nutmeg, Alcohol and Cannabis Trip Report by Datura Goddess. Posted to earwid.org, November 16th, 2000. On the night of the 27th of October, 2000, I was desperate to get high, because I'd been sober for 2 months. My friend L was blabbing about combining drugs, and he ended up betting me 1/4 ounce of marijuana that I wouldn't do all of these drugs at once. I agreed on the bet, and we gathered up the drugs. I paid for the bud, DXM, alcohol, nutmeg, while he got the Datura, Vicodin and Ritalin. And in case you're wondering, before this experience I had smoked weed, tripped off of DXM, only once using 8 pills, while also tripping off of Datura, called Moonflower where I live. I'd taken it twice, both times eating all the seeds in one pod, and gotten drunk before. I'd never tried Vicodin, Ritalin or Nutmeg before this though. There were 3 people involved, including me. I will call my 2 friends L and M. To prepare for this experience, we got all of the drugs I was going to take. It was a Friday, so I was able to stay away from my parents, cops, teachers, etc. for a few days. I went to L's house, along with M. L's father was home at first, but only people at L's house from 12:45 PM Friday to 4 PM Saturday were me, M, and L. We also got some ice cubes, Jolly Ranchers, and orange juice. We had everything ready and planned out by about 1 PM. All names and phone numbers have been changed in this story. The first thing I did was eat the nutmeg. I had a full 1.1 ounce bottle of it. I ate mouthfuls of nutmeg at a time, swallowed as fast as I could, then drank the orange juice. I ended up eating that whole bottle of nutmeg, a very hard thing to do without puking. I got very close to puking, but stopped myself. I waited until 1:32 PM, then I swallowed the DXM pills. Hydrocodone, cough plus cold, 16 pills, 480 milligrams of DXM. At 1:45, I ate the moonflower seeds, 2 pods of about 2 1/4 in diameter, about 140 seeds, uncooked, not dried. Then, I snorted a little less than half of the Vicodin pill and 1/2 of the Ritalin pill. I started feeling dizzy and lightheaded by 1:53. It was around 2:40 when I started feeling the Ritalin. I think it was the Ritalin. I was hyper and dizzy. I also think that the moonflower trip had started too, and I was definitely feeling the DXM. I wanted to get high from the weed, so I smoked about a dime. I had a 1/4 for me to smoke, while L and M had 8 for the nose for them to share. L and M smoked a couple bowls between them, and we just sat around and talked till about 3:10 when M was telling me I'd better drink the alcohol and smoke the rest of the weed, because I would be tripping too hard. I smoked the rest of the weed, but it really hurt my throat. I had a bad dry mouth from the moonflower as well. I was sucking on ice cubes while I was smoking, and that helped a little, although the Jolly Ranchers didn't work quite as good. The last thing to do was drink the alcohol, so I drank a screwdriver that L made, with about 4 shots of vodka, and drank about a cup of Captain Morgan's Parrot Bay coconut rum. L's dad bought it and the vodka, then he left for work. He didn't know anything about the other drugs though. Tell you what, I felt really fucked up. The only things I remember after this was watching parts of the first 5 or 10 minutes of Scream 3, which M rented, and I was talking some during it. The rest of the story is what L and M told me, as I don't remember any of it, except for parts of my dreams. When we were watching the rest of the movie, I kept leaving the room. M followed me, and I guess I just wandered around his house. He would tell me to come back to the room, and I would respond by just blabbing on like, "Oh, he doesn't have the pipe, but I bet the gym will." Or, "Seriously, I thought you weren't." M would just then lead me back into his room. I said something like, "I saw the dogs burn my throat," and pointed to my mouth. Then, I tried to run to the bathroom, but I kept falling and stumbling, so I crawled to his trash can and puked in it twice in a row. My eyes were very bloodshot by now. My pupils were dilated and my eyes were wide open. I even peed my pants at about 4, and at 4:45 I could hardly even breathe. I tried to talk, but when no sound came out, I just pointed to my mouth and started crying. I was drinking a lot of orange juice and eating ice cubes and Jolly Ranchers to try and get rid of the dry mouth. It wasn't until about 6:25 PM that I finally passed out on the floor of M's room. In my sleep, I was twitching quite a lot, and I was saying everything out loud. My friend stayed awake to make sure I didn't break anything, and sometimes I woke up and rearranged things for no reason, like putting a stack of paper in the freezer and moving the TV around the room. From 6:30 PM to 3:20 AM, I was talking, but I slept until 6:15. These are some of the things my friends remember me saying. "Seriously?" To which I said at least 8 times. "Is B there? Isn't this 5550934? B is one of my friends. Is R there? It's already 8. What's taking you so long?" I was my weed dealer. It was about 11 PM when I said that. "Why? Get in here!" "Why's my brother?" I yelled this very, very loud. "Man, where'd the bowl go? It was right here." I said this a lot, sometimes saying joint instead of bowl, and I would open my eyes most of the times I said it. "You can't do that already." And that was it. I remember everything after I woke up though. When I woke up, I was still tripping off the moonflower, but everything else had worn off. I was hearing things and felt kinda drunk. As for visual hallucinations, I only remember 2. Some moving green blob on my door and colour differences. "Why are we talking so much, man? Last night was so trippy to see you like that," M told me. I had no idea what he was actually talking about. Then M and L told me about how I was talking for such a very, very long time. The only things I remember dreaming about were calling B on the phone and walking around my school. I stayed at M's house, but L went home at 8 AM. I went home at 3 PM. M said I was talking to people that weren't there, but I stopped around 2:15 PM. Let me tell you, I was sick for about 3 days after that, and L gave me that well-deserved 1/4 ounce. So, in conclusion, I would recommend never combining too many drugs, ever. What I did was very stupid, and almost caused me to die.